for some birth control. The Florida Project is a movie about a girl named Mooni. Really, there's not much of a plot in this movie. It's just basically watching Mooni in her everyday life. She lives in Florida with her single mom. They live in a motel where you can rent the room by the week. It's just outside of the Disney World theme park, so there's a lot of tourists and such that come through the motel, but she lives there and gets into a lot of trouble. Basically, this movie is like one of those nanny SOS shows, except Nanny Joe never shows up. Like these kids are horrible. They have terrible language. They spit on things and on people. They get into all sorts of trouble because they're just basically unsupervised, and it's summertime and they're bored and they have no structure to their life. We interact with her mom and then a couple of other families that live in the motel. This was a really difficult film to watch. I actually had access to a press screening, so I was able to watch it at home, and I had to turn it off 3 times because it was just getting to be too much for me. I get emotionally involved in films, and this one was just, for myself, very emotionally heavy. I really enjoyed it, as in like, I appreciated the insight into the life of poor people in America. I really liked how it showed the systemic poverty and how people get stuck into the systemic poverty, but then also at the same time, there's certain decisions that they are making that keep them within that system. Like for instance, Mooni's mom doesn't have a job. Anytime she seems to get money, rather than like saving it up or putting it towards maybe some education for herself so she can improve her situation, or like even a nutritious meal for Mooni. No, they blow it all at the dollar store, or they go to this cafe and buy like everything on the menu out of spite because she's mad at the waitress who used to be her friend. Like it's just things like this where it's like, dude, come on, like let's make some better decisions. And it was just so painful to watch. It's really well done. I really like how the director used like wide angles and made everything kind of like look really big to give it that child's view, like the child's perspective. I thought that was really great because we are watching it with Mooni. The girl who plays Mooni is extraordinary. I can't believe it. Like she's just so great. She's so bad in this film, like as a child, but herself, Brooklynn Prince, she's a really good kid. And there's an interview that she did with Jimmy Kimmel, and she talks about like the amount of cursing that she did in this film.
When we were rehearsing my lines, we would either go beep or we just wouldn't say them.
You wouldn't when you're rehearsing, but then when you had to say it for real, was that exciting?
Yes.
It was.
And she's just absolutely adorable. This is her first film, and she did an extraordinary, incredible, exceptional job acting this film. Like there was one scene where she's talking to a social worker, and this for me just really stuck out as an extraordinary piece of acting. She was sitting and talking to the social worker. The social worker is asking her like, what do you do with her day? And she's like all kind of curled up and not wanting to talk to the social worker. And then the social worker goes, do you like to go swimming? And she goes, and she makes this like facial expression that's just like, it just says so much. Like, of course I like to go swimming, you stupid woman, you know, and I don't want to talk to you, and this is just so ridiculous. Like there was so much that was said. The actress who played the mother, Bria Vinate, also another exceptional performance. Just, she's raw and very much a child herself. This actress is actually a Instagram model and hasn't really done any acting before this. I think she just played herself. She hasn't had a lot of experience in acting, and I thought she did a really great job portraying this down and out mother who on one hand is kind of trying her best, but on the other hand isn't, but loves her kid, but she's dysfunctional without like overdoing it. It felt really real. It felt really raw. I loved William Dafoe in this role. Bobby himself is also a very raw character. He's rough around the edges, but he has this compassion for the people who live in his motel, and he understands the situation that they're in, the cyclical poverty. And so he's trying to help them out as best as he can. He watches out for them. He watches out for the kids. He's always working really hard to keep the motel in as best condition as he can.
Have a nice day.
Love you, Bobby!
I love you too.
The film didn't actually really go anywhere. You're just watching it. It's like living a few days with Mooni. They're in the shadows of this magical kingdom, and their kingdom is far from magical. I give this film a 7.8 out of 10. I thought it was really well done. You should watch it, but just, you know, brace yourself. You're gonna go through some things.
Thank you very much.
You're not welcome.
Give this video a big thumbs up if you like well-behaved children, like I do. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that little bell so you don't miss out on anything that I've seen. Scene by Dawn.